and you can increase your vertical jump even more in season. So by the end of the season, when the playoffs and the championship comes, you are bouncing even more than when the season started. Ladies and gentlemen of the Action Army, what is going on? And welcome to another episode of Answers for Athletes. In today's video, we have a question from Kate Joanne Villamore. Thank you again for your question. You ask some very good questions. If you just watch these videos, if you just simply watch these videos and don't ask your questions or comments, please ask your questions down below and I will answer them in a video just like this. We got a question from Kate Joanne Villamore who says, how do I schedule my training in season? I have 2 games per week. I actually have 6 steps for you, 6 very good steps for you to use to schedule your training in season. But before I do, comment jump for a free bodyweight vertical jump training program and understand that I have an in-season training program. It's called Beyond the Rim in season. And I also have Upper Body Athlete in season. And they're actually combined. So whenever you buy one, you actually get both. So if you want to take all the guesswork out of it, just get my Beyond the Rim in season program. And you can increase your vertical jump even more in season. So by the end of the season, when the playoffs and the championship comes, you are bouncing even more than when the season started. But let me give you these 6 steps. Step number 1 is to keep high intensity days high and low intensity days low. So your highest intensity days are likely your game days. So you said you have 2 games per week. I would do your high intensity workouts in your high intensity games on the same day. And the best case scenario would be to work out. Is this my second step? Yeah, that is my second step. So I'm going to save that for step number 2. Step number 1 is keep your high days high and your low days low. So by that, all I mean is use your high intensity workouts on your game days. That is the best case scenario. The day after your game is also a good scenario if you want to do your high intensity workouts the day after your games. Step number 2 is if you're going to do your workout on the same day as your game, keeping high days high and low days low. So what I really mean by that is, let's say you have a rest day on Sunday because you have practice, let's say Monday through Saturday, you have games, we'll say Tuesday and Friday, and then Sunday is your rest day. And you think to yourself, well, Sunday is my only day off, so I should go and I should do a workout on Sunday because I have all the time on Sunday. That is the worst thing that you could do, because Sunday is your only real rest and recovery day. And now you are putting a workout on that day. So now every single day is high intensity and your body doesn't have time to recover. And you will eventually break down. Your central nervous system, your tendons will break down. You may see some patellar tendonitis, et cetera, et cetera. So keep your high days high. Step number 2, as we got into before I started yapping, is work out directly before your game. Work out directly before your game. And if you can't work out directly before your game, then you're going to work out in the morning before your game. And by the time that you go to your game, you're going to feel fresh for your game. So the reason that this is the best is because in another tip, I'm going to talk about the type of workouts that we are doing. But with the type of workouts that we are doing with low volume and high intensity, doing that direct and mostly power work, doing that directly before your game is going to have you feeling bouncy and fresh for your game. And it is going to combine all the stress of your game and your workout at the same time. So that now we are combining sessions and we're doing them back to back, your workout and then your game. After we do that, you are allowing for the rest of the day and the rest of the night while you're sleeping to recover. Okay. Second best scenario is that you do it in the morning. You wake up, you hit your workout before school because you're a fucking beast. You're like Kobe. And then you go through school or whatever obligations you have that day. And then you have your game later at night. You warm up properly. You go through your game. You drop buckets. Third best case scenario would be directly after your game. Sometimes NBA players, a lot of the times they work out before their game. Sometimes they work out after their game because adrenaline is high. They're still ready to go. They're amped up. So a good time is after your game. The biggest reason why I don't like workouts after your game is because you use a lot of energy in your game. So if you're giving everything that you have because you're a fucking bucket and you're a hard worker like that, and you give every ounce of yourself every single game, if you do that, and then after your game, you're a little bit fatigued from going so hard, you might not get that same intent in your squats and in your depth jumps and in your hang cleans as you would if you did that before your game when you were freshest. So that is tip number 2. Work out directly before your game. If you can't do that, work out in the morning before your game. If you can't do that, work out after your game. If you can't do that, work out the day after your game. I say this all the time. The best time is the best time for you. The best workout is the best workout for you. The best schedule is the best schedule for you. The worst thing that you could do is say, well, I can't work out directly before my game, so I'm not going to work out. Don't be a fucking bitch, excuse my language. Do the best you can with what you have. If you can't do this, do that. If you can't do that, do this. Just get it done. Period. Point blank, period. Tip number 3. Use microdosing or lower volume. You should be using linear periodization. What I mean by that is you should be going higher volume in the off season, which most of you do. And then once you get to preseason and in season, it should be lower volume for your training because most of your volume comes from practices and games 6 days a week. So your training can't be super high volume fatiguing training. You cannot do the same training that you did in off season in season. You have to use microdosing or lower volume. So that is why I like guys to have a lot of volume in their training in the off season. And then approaching the season and in season, we're pyramiding up like this. We're going from higher volume to lower volume, higher intensity. So now you only have a couple of exercises. You're not doing sets of 10, 15, 20 reps. You might be doing 5 sets of 3 power exercises, moving the bar as fast as you possibly can, or 5 sets of 3 depth jumps, jumping as high as you possibly can. You're doing lower volume, but very high intensity. That's tip number 3, use microdosing. And all of this is in my in-season programming. Tip number 4, take extra rest if you need it. This is huge. This is huge. Let's say you do my program. You get my in-season program. And you're doing workouts, or you get PJF's program, or you get Overtime Athletes program, or you get THP Strength, or you get Knees Over Toes guy, whoever's programming you have. They don't know what you do on a weekly basis. I don't know your schedule. I don't know that you had 4 games this week because your coach decided to add more games to the schedule at the last minute. Now you guys got 4 games that week. I don't know that. So you need to be smart. You need to listen to your body. And if you need an extra day of rest, just push the programming back one day. Don't say, oh, Nathanael Morton has this workout scheduled for Wednesday. And even though I'm tired as fuck and I just had a game Monday, Tuesday, I got to do this on Wednesday because his program says Wednesday. No, bro. Be smart. Take extra rest if you need extra rest. That is tip number 4. Tip number 5. Don't do exercises that are highly fatiguing. Barbell RDLs for 4 sets of 10 is going to have you feel like you went to a massage therapist and that massage therapist was Tyson Fury. And for 1 hour, all he did was punch you in your hamstrings. Don't do exercises that are going to be highly fatiguing for you and hinder your performance in practice in your games. Because the most important thing as a basketball player is your ability to play basketball. It's not your ability to do an RDL. It's not even your ability to jump high and dunk. The number one thing for a basketball player is you have to play basketball at the highest level. So anything that hinders that ability to play basketball at the highest level, fuck that. So high volume, as we said, is not going to be a good idea. Certain exercises, eccentric focuses are going to place more stress on the muscles and make you sore. Higher reps are going to make you sore. Newer fatiguing exercises that you haven't done before, new stimulus to that body is going to make you sore. So avoid things that are going to hinder your performance. Avoid exercises that are going to hinder your performance for basketball. And you can do a lot of that by doing higher intensity and less reps. So let's say RDLs, you really want to do barbell RDLs. Why don't you do 5 sets of 3 powerful RDLs? So you're using heavy weight, but you're moving the bar as fast as you can, and you're only doing 5 sets of 3 reps. You're still going to get gains. You're still going to improve your power, especially if you're progressive overloading every time, but you're not going to be as fatigued as if you did high reps or a slow eccentric focus. That is tip number 5. Don't do exercises that make it feel like Tyson Fury just beat up your hamstrings for 60 minutes on a massage table. That's a scary sight. Imagine you're on a massage table and Tyson Fury walks in. Bro, I'm out, bro. I'm sorry, I'm out. Bro, you ain't massaging me, dude. Anyways, what in the hell am I talking about, bro? Step number 6. Do what you don't get from your sport. What do you get from basketball? You get a lot of jumps. You get a lot of cuts. You get a lot of agility. You get a lot of deceleration. You get all this shit from your sport. What don't you get from basketball? You don't get your heavier strength training. You don't get your power training. You don't even get top-end speed sprints, because by the time you reach top-end speed, bro, you're at the other side of the hoop getting a bucket. You don't get higher intensity plyometrics like depth jumps. You get a lot of low-level extensive plyos, a lot of low-level unorganized plyos. So in your training, you should be doing your higher intensity plyometrics. Lower reps, higher intensity, because as we said, we're not going super high volume, but higher intensity plyometrics, your power work. If you have time and you have a couple days in before your next game, you're doing your heavier strength work because you're not getting that from your sport. So step number 6 is do what you don't get from your sport. Do in your workouts what you are not getting from your sport. There's no reason to add in extra agility, extra deceleration, extra low-level extensive plyometrics because you're already getting that from basketball. Why would you do more? Do what you don't get from your sport. All right, I've said that enough. Anyways, those are 6 steps. 6 steps. Those are 6 steps to being as efficient as possible for scheduling your workouts in season. Get my in-season program. Comment jump for a free bodyweight program. Although if you're in season, that free bodyweight program is a lot of volume, so you're going to have to cut the volume back. Think about what you don't get from your sport, and then look at my free bodyweight program and say, okay, I already get this. I already get the agility, so I'm going to skip the agility days. But I don't get this strength work. I don't get this power work. I don't get these high-intensity plyometrics. I'm going to pull that from Nathanael Morton's bodyweight program that is free, that you can get from commenting jump or DMing me jump on Instagram right now. Stop playing with your gains. That is what I'm going to do in my programming. And leave your questions. Sign up for my programs. Do all the shit. And I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.